I'm delighted to welcome today a lovely young man called Gavin Aley. And Gavin, you are the Managing Director of the Tessellate Collection. Welcome to the show.
Thanks very much, Elaine, and thank you very much for inviting me onto the show. It's a pleasure to get to talk to you at last.
Most welcome. So the Tessellate Collection, bearing in mind this isn't a sales call as such, it's an educational health programme. So the Tessellate Collection is a whole variety of different brand new products, aren't they? All organic. What's the main ingredient?
So the Tessellate Collective is the name of the company, but our products are all organic CBD products. So it goes from oils through to capsules and anything to do with CBD. We are that's what we represent.
I had the pleasure to visit the farm recently, where the plants are grown organically, harvested, and then turned into the products. And I was really impressed with the efficacy of how it all works together, the hygiene factors, etc., etc. What led you? So I'm led by quality and organic. They're kind of top of my list, really, on anything that I look at, because I'm often asked to sample products and so on. So what's at the top of your list?
I joined because I believe in the CBD industry, and I wanted to work with a quality business with a quality platform. And you've been to the farm. That's actually where I work as well still. And you see everything. You get to see the hemp fields, and then you see how we take the CBD extracted, and then how we manufacture everything on site. It's a UK company. It's quality. It's a very strong and very highly ethical business. And to me, the ethical side of things is even more important, because we're going to, the market at the moment for CBD is very much growing and expanding, and it means that a lot of people pile in and just come in with any old stuff. Our products are all tested. Our products all have test certificates. Our products conform to all laws. And it's a UK company at the start of time when there's a lot of international businesses. So I know that once the initial noise dies down, and in any industry when you start, hundreds of people pile in, then they all start to fall away. But I know there'll be very few companies left that will have continued with the flag of quality, and our business will be one of them.
Well, that's really encouraging to hear. And as you say, when you have a new industry kind of pop up, I mean, the CBD isn't really a new industry. I mean, it's around for thousands of years. And
yes.
I get really cross because the allopathic medical fraternities say about alternative and complementary and all this wacky stuff, and they've got visions of hippies floating around. And it's not that at all, is it?
Well, no. I mean, the CBD is actually the complete opposite to that. It's all the goodness of the extract from the sativa L plant, which is low in THCs. THCs are the things that give the cannabis leaf a bad name, because that's the side that people use for these recreational things. We grow a certain strain called the sativa L plant, and that's low in THCs, and we then extract all of the bad things, including the THCs, out of the product, and you're left with a very good quality CBD oil.
And as I said, when I went to the farm, I had to put a white coat on and went into the laboratory and had a really interesting talk by your guys there. So I do know what you're talking about is absolutely spot on. Talking while we're on for the benefit of the listeners, the THC element of the oil is what I took when I had cancer in several cancers I've had, but my stage 4 in 2015. I was on 1 gram a day, which is really, really high potent THC, and for cancer that is absolutely really, really helpful. But you have to take it properly. So if there's any listeners out there who are concerned about it, then get in touch, because I can help guide you on what to do and how to do it, so you don't end up off your head or in jail. So there is hope out there. So going back to the oil, Gavin, why is it, do you think, now that the CBD industry is taking off, because as you say, it's been around for years. I mean, hemp has been grown in many countries for many uses. I mean, you can make bricks from it, you can make clothes from it, ropes,
Yes.
fabric, all kinds of things. So why now?
I think the actually the move in Canada to legalize cannabis in general led to a much wider spread acceptance and understanding of CBD. I think CBD has always had negative connotations because of people's ignorance, and I think what's happened from that is that it's now becoming more mainstream. People are now starting to understand and be more educated on it, and there are companies, including ourselves, that are wanting to educate and explain the benefits there are associated with using CBD. And I think it's opened up a whole new era. And we're really just, although we're thousands of years of history and use, it almost feels like this is the first time that it's really been in many thousands of years, probably, in the mainframe and in the mainstay of culture, and everybody now has an opinion on it. Which can only be good. It gets the debate going, and it's a chance to educate people and explain to them the various differences and the potential properties of the products.
Yeah, you raise a good point there, Gavin. The education is really important, isn't it? And when you buy anything off the high street, you go in there and the sales assistants don't really understand. How can they possibly? Because there's so many, hundreds of products on the shelf. But in terms of a product like this, which is so important for health in lots of different areas with a huge range of benefits, talk us through some of the benefits that you've experienced from some of the clients that have used it, Gavin.
Well, we have the unfortunate side to our industry is it's highly regulated on what you are and aren't allowed to claim, and what you're allowed to say. So we have the MRHA, the Medical Health arm, which is the government agency that tells you lots of things that you're not allowed to tell people about. However, we do know that using CBD oil as part of a healthy, active lifestyle and combining it with exercise and other elements of a health regime, such as omega-3s and other good nutritional supplements, really does contribute to overall health and well-being. We have a lot of people that use the product. It helps them feel calm. It relieves anxiety, and a lot of other benefits on top of that. But we are so restricted by what we're allowed to say, which means that we have to stay ethical even on this podcast, Elaine. I know of many stories that go far beyond what I've said, and I know you will have literally hundreds of those stories too. But we are restricted in what we do or don't say. But we all know that there are certainly benefits to using CBD oil that go far beyond a normal food supplement.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I know people, and myself included, who've experienced lack of pain following arthritis and rheumatism and all kinds of joint related ailments, and almost to the point where they've not quite started running again, but they've certainly far more mobile. So yeah, as you say, there's lots and lots of benefits, and all we can do is share people's stories, can't we? But in a way that is ethical.
Absolutely, and that's what we do as well. And the other thing, obviously, our route to market, Elaine, and it's not it comes from people that are using the products and that actually understand how to talk about the product. You can't buy cornflakes in a shop and get advice from an expert on cornflakes, whereas with CBD in our business, you will get somebody who will look after you, who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah,
and that's very valuable.
Yeah, it is, absolutely, because there's a lot of myth, and you mentioned the word ignorance earlier on. It's amazing how many people make assumptions because of their ignorance, and they don't like to admit that they don't know, so they make assumptions, and then before we know where we are, we've got all sorts of nonsense going around.
Well, yes, so, absolutely.
We've established that there's lots of benefits from using CBD oil in the right way, for the right conditions and so on. You haven't always done this, Gavin, have you? You mentioned omega-3, and you had an involvement with a company quite recently with omega-3. So talk to us about omega-3. And
omega-3 is far better known, and it's an absolute giant of an industry. And again, with omega-3, you get all sorts of different qualities of oils and qualities of product. The products I was working with were very pure, and very traceable, and very sustainable, and very organic. They came from one of only 5 ships in a certain radius of the Arctic Circle. So the product was absolutely outstanding quality. And of course, there are many medically approved claims by the European Food Standards Agency around the benefits of certain amounts and dosages of omega-3 products. So for me, the thing I like is that the omega-3 from fish, and it was from cod liver oil, that was a fantastic product. And now, hemp oil, we know, has omega-3 as well. So I've kind of moved companies and moved industries, but I've still got omega-3 in the blood somewhere.
Marvelous. And is it necessary to take omega-3 as a separate oil and CBD? You mentioned that the CBD with that mixed with hemp has omega-3 in it. What are the quantities?
Right, because of the quantities of our oils are all in 10 milliliter bottles, so you're taking 2 to 3 drops typically. That's just I would say that's an average of everything that I'm aware of. So you're not going to get enough in 2 or 3 drops of an omega-3 of a CBD oil to get the amount of necessary omega-3s. You need about 10 mil of omega-3s. Omega-3 oil per day, and the last company, you could just get that from a liquid. You'd get a 10 mil hit, and you would be able to get all your omega-3s that you needed from that 10 milliliters a day. So I would look at using a combination of CBD oil and omega-3 if you want to go for a more optimal and more all-encompassing in terms of well-being, because the benefits of both are very well documented.
Right. Okay. And it's easier, as you say, with medical, the way we're hamstrung with the medical speak, that we can say what we can't say. Omega-3 is more widely recognised because there's more studies on it and so on, aren't there? With the CBD, there's very few studies at the moment, and I'm sure that will change in the future.
I think we're actually, as I said, Elaine, earlier, although we're thousands of years into the life story of CBD, we're almost starting it from the beginning, because now we will see more studies being published. We are working with King's College in London, and we're actually growing the higher THC strain plants for them under license from the Home Office. One of very few companies that has been granted a license to do so, and I'm certain that we will now see many more studies done. But as you and I both know, it takes years before these get into the mainstream. So I think we're very much at the pioneering end of this industry right now, and it's actually great fun to be at the beginning of something. Of course, the other generations that come after us won't know how much hard work we had to go through to get the industry established. But
Yes.
it's a bit like what your grandparents used to tell you. Oh, you don't know how lucky you are. I think I'll be telling a few people that in the coming years and possibly the coming decades.
Indeed. You didn't always deal with oil, Gavin. Tell us a bit about how you came to this industry.
No, I started off. I mean, my whole career was working for all the bad industries. Let's just say all the snacking and the alcohol companies. I had a very good career with grocery for many years, and then in 2008, I actually found direct selling as an industry. I really love people, and I kind of stumbled on it by a positive accident. And I've been in the industry now since 2008. I had 8 years as the general manager of a very well-known health and wellness business, American-based, very, very large turnover, something like $7.5 billion. And I was looking after the UK, Ireland, and Iceland. I learned a lot about nutrition there. But what I've always tried to do is, I don't want to be a nutritionist. I have to keep my eyes and ears as basic as possible. So I don't want to be the scientist. I'm surrounded by scientists. I don't want to be the expert, because if it stays simple and if I can understand it, then any person, any potential customer, and someone who's looking to learn about the products, I know that they can understand it too. And I've tried to keep that innocence around how I look at things. because I do find that if you can keep it simple, more people will understand things, more people will get the benefits, discover the benefits. And of course, indirect selling, there's also the opportunity to help people in many other ways, not just on a health platform, but by finding other people who are interested in having their own similar business, supplying the oils to people for their results. They are able to change their lives as well, whether that's saving a little bit more money for Christmas, or having a little bit more pocket money spare at the end of each month. But yeah, the two industries crisscross very nicely, and health is an incredibly important and still growing, and probably always will grow. For every genetically modified thing we have, I think we now need to try and find two more natural things and promote them instead. So it's a great industry.
Yeah, you've mentioned direct selling.
Yes.
Direct selling also, like CBD, has had a bad rep over the years, and and there are some companies who are extremely aggressive, and I avoid them, like anything. But there are some companies like yours who are kind, considerate, thoughtful, and it's about education, isn't it? It's not about selling. It's about educating people to make sure they get the right thing for them, and in turn they will recommend other people, and so it goes around the houses and everybody benefits.
Yes, I completely agree with you. We're definitely not an aggressive business. We don't want to be. We don't feel that we need to force people to do things. We want people to understand what it is we do, be able to taste and sample the products, and then make a decision as to what they want to do next. I have experience of what you've talked about, and part of my experience means that I'm able to set the tone and work with the leadership in this company to do something that really is customer focused and really is genuine. So many times you hear companies promising you something, and then when you scrape away at the dirt and the surface, you find that they were lies. So we want to be very authentic. Our CEO of the overall company has very publicly announced that, and always said, we will always take the high road. And when you have the backing of your parents that says it like that, it makes your behaviours very easy and very natural, which hasn't always been the case. And the other thing I would quickly mention is that we also subscribe to the Direct Selling Association, who have even higher standards in place for customers and for people who want business opportunities. We have higher standards in place than if you bought your cornflakes in a supermarket. You have better rights because we signed up to this code of ethics, and we're just going through the accreditation to become a full-time member of the Direct Selling Association of the UK, which I had a lot of association with before. So you can buy from us with confidence.
How do people get hold of you, Gavin?
Oh, that's a very good question. They can email me, Elaine, or they can give me a call. I'm quite an accessible person. I don't try and hide from people. I'm always open to, if anyone wants to have a conversation, I'm always open to speaking to people. I absolutely love people. I'm the kind of person that talks to everybody at airports, cafes, wherever I am. I always find that someone's got an interesting story, and the world gets that little bit smaller after you've spoken to people. So if you want to share any contact details for me, Elaine, please feel free to do so.
Okay, we'll do those shortly. I asked guests to come up with a couple of songs. You've chosen Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me, and Frank Sinatra singing New York, New York. Why did you choose those, Gavin?
New York, New York is just such an anthem, and I love singing it. I'm a karaoke addict, and I've also had the pleasure of performing that to some larger crowds. I'm a good amateur. So New York, New York is great fun. Everyone dances along to it. It brings people together. And Don't You Forget About Me, just an anthem of my youth. It came from a film called The Breakfast Club, but that was in about 1983, 84. But I took my daughter, who's now 11, her first concert around about 3 or 4 years ago was Simple Minds, and I got her into that song. So it has extra significance for me as well. So thank you for letting me choose them, Elaine.
Wonderful. Okay, well, thank you, Gavin Aley, for speaking to us today, and here are your songs.
Thank you.